The Todd Shapiro Show.
I met your grief counselor last night. I go, I don't even remember seeing you last night. I don't even think I was that drunk. You know, that's the thing is I don't remember stuff the next day. It could be because I'm old, but yeah, everybody said, yeah, I saw you last night. We're talking at the bar. And I don't remember.
A beautiful blonde lady.
Yeah.
Looked about 20 years younger than you, maybe 30 years younger than you.
About 23 years.
23 years younger. So how long have you been dating for?
Yesterday.
Ah, good for you.
I'm going to say we're dating.
You're hanging? Oh, you just...
Well, she flew up to see me. She's a grief counselor, you know, because my wife passed away.
When did your wife pass away?
4 months ago.
Sorry to hear that, man.
She wouldn't listen. Fucking damn broad. No, she, yeah, it was a long story, but, you know, it's
How'd your wife die?
So she was hit by a car in Mexico, and then she got pneumonia and sepsis in the hospital in the States. We're suing the hospital. We're going to win. You know, in California, it's really hard. This is funny stuff, by the way, for the Comedy Network. What do you call this? SiriusXM.
This is Canada Laughs. So It's kind of like the raw dog of, you know, there's Canada Laughs, raw dog.
I got it.
Usually you play a lot of comedians, and then we have some sort of talk shows in between.
I gotcha. Well, you know, what was really hard for me, I mean, it's difficult. You live with somebody for 30 years. But what was really difficult is I knew how much it was going to affect my act. Because... you know, a lot of people don't know. Do you know who Vaughn Meader was?
I don't.
Okay, well, Vaughn Meader in early 60s when Kennedy got assassinated, Vaughn Meader had, I think, the biggest selling album in America because he made fun of the First Family. I think like outsold Meet the Beatles or something. Like this tremendous selling album. And, you know, Kennedy got shot and Lenny Bruce went on stage that night and made a joke about there goes Vaughn Meader's career. And Vaughn Meader, after that, the album was pulled from the shelves. It never sold again because it was such a national tragedy. And I think he died about 5 years ago. But people I know told me they would see him wandering Hollywood Boulevard, you know, homeless, drunk guy talking to himself because he had no career since, you know, 1963. So, you know, I thought that's going to be me because my whole act is about my wife. I'm going to be the Vaughn Meader for the millennials. I'm going to be people going to remember Bobby Slayton? No, he was a guy whose wife died and his whole act went down. So now I had to write jokes about my wife's death. And, you know, you get comedians like Tina Turner, you know, she had breast cancer. She does, you know, very poignant and touching. And, you know, Robert Schimmel, when his son died and he got cancer and cancer victims come out. And I can't do that. You know, that's not my I'm going to say character. I'm the pitbull of comedy. I can't start to, I got to keep this funny and I got to keep it somewhat mean. So it's been the hardest challenge of my life to try to do this. But I'm doing it at the Nasty Show. And if you can't do this at the Nasty Show, where can you do it? Dead wife jokes.
And at least the Nasty Show is sort of an accepting audience. But I mean, is it more emotional on you once you're done the show? And I'm sorry to get too deep, but I know we don't always get so funny, but we get real. And this is sort of just where the conversation took us. But I mean, like, will you go and like you leave a show now and go, fuck, man, that was like, it's fucking tough to get up there and do this shit now.
You know when it was tough? When she passed away, and then a week later, I had a stand-up gig in Montreal, as a matter of fact, and I was on my way to New York to shoot a show with Woody Allen. And
did you miss a funeral for it? Did you?
Yeah, I missed a funeral. Yeah, I missed a funeral. We actually had a big party. We didn't have a funeral. We had a big party at my house, and you know, why spend those money on a funeral? We celebrated her life. We have such a beautiful home that she decorated. But right after she died, I had to go to New York, and Woody Allen put me on his new Amazon TV show. And when my wife, she wasn't on a deathbed, but she was really in bad shape, and I said, maybe I shouldn't go. She was being here with me. That's just going to make things worse. You got to go do the thing with Woody. So she passed away, and a week or 10 days later, you know, it's exhilarating. I'm in New York. I'm working with Woody Allen, but my wife was gone. So the ups and downs of that week was so intense. He gave me this big scene to do. So 90% of my time was spent working on this part, which got my wife, you know, I mean, it was just Woody and my wife. That's all that was on my mind. When I did that, I had to go to a couple of comedy clubs and work on the material. So the first time I did it, I think it was in Denver, it was really hard to do the wife jokes because it brings the show to a complete standstill. Yeah, how do you bring, you know, my wife died, and then I would have people come up to me after and go, did she really die or is that just a bit? You know, it's, I mean, it was so, I wasn't really making jokes about it, but I did, you know, I said I went to a grief counselor. It was the same one that married us, you know, and so there was a lot of jokes that were funny. I said, the great thing about my wife's death is I don't have to see her family for the holidays. This Thanksgiving, I have something to be thankful for, you know? And people, see, it's funny, you know? It's funny shit, and I'm really not really making fun of her death so much, but...
life after death.
Yeah, I mean, life goes on. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But it's not easy.
Bobby Slayton joins us. You've heard him with Stern. You've heard him with Adam Carolla. I mean, this guy's been doing it for so long. Does it, I mean, with all of this happening now in your life, is there ever a point where you just think to yourself, fuck, I've done this for 3-4 decades. Why not just take off and do something else or not even do it anymore?
I think about it every day. Every day. Every night before I go on stage, I either go, I'm getting too old for this crap, or I say to myself, the Hyman Roth line, from The Godfather. This is the business we've chosen. So, I would quit if I had the money to quit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't have the money to quit. But after my wife passed away, I took a month off, and I thought I'd go crazy. But being in my house, I travel so much. I have 8 million frequent flyer miles on my ass, and they're basically just in North America, And so it's always on a plane, packing and unpacking. And this festival, I've been doing this festival, I think, longer than anybody. Maybe me and Dom, steadily doing the festival and hosting the Nasty Show. And the festival's been around for like 32 years. I think I've done like 25 times. This year was almost as exciting for me as the first year I did it, because I get to come up here and see a lot of people I don't see. And everybody feels so bad for me. I'm getting so many meals. This dead wife thing, I don't know how long I can drag this out for. People are taking me out. People are buying me drinks. But people, until somebody else's wife dies. And then Patton Oswalt's wife died a week later, after my wife. But it was tougher for me because my wife was so much better looking. So, I'm not saying Patton, it wasn't bad for him, but you can imagine my level with a hot wife. Not that his wife was ugly, but he's more successful than me, but he's not a good-looking guy, so he can't really get the good pussy. Maybe he can now, it's on television. I don't know. I'm not judging other people. See, I told that to Patton's manager yesterday. He goes, you got to tell that lie to Patton, because, comics, that's the kind of crap you laugh at, It's that gallows humor kind of thing. Black people came up with the blues when they were picking cotton. So, the more miserable you are,
Are comics typically like depressed and sad normally? And the reason why I say that to you, Bobby, is we'll hang out at the Hyatt, and I think to myself, we're in Montreal, and it's such a fucking beautiful city, and there's so much to do, whether it's great fine restaurants, clubs, or even strip joints.
Right.
But for some reason, all the comics, they just hang out right here in the lobby and just have a couple of drinks, and it's still always whether it was a comedy club backstage or the lobby.
Yeah.
It's why not? I mean, to me, I'm like, are they kind of depressed, not getting away from one another, exploring?
I don't find that at all. Everybody thinks that comics are such depressed people. There's a lot of guys that are depressed. That's why they get into comedy. A lot of guys are angry. A lot of guys, in high school, they couldn't play sports, they couldn't get laid, they couldn't do anything. So everybody wants to be a rock musician, so they gravitate towards comedy. I mean, I think every comic, some have horrible childhoods, some of them. I grew up in a perfectly normal, everything lifestyle in the suburbs with the dog, but I just knew this was something I was meant to do. But I think any profession, you're going to find guys. I think football players and baseball players, and when you're around your own, I think a lot of these people don't see each other all year. I don't see these guys.
Okay, that's a good point.
What it is, and most of these.
I saw you were George Wallace. You're posting some nice pictures yesterday with.
Yeah, I gotta go way back with George. But I think most of the headliners, people go, "Who do you go see at the festival?" Well, usually nobody, because I'm working. So when you're on the road, playing a comedy club or a theater, it's not like afterwards I go, "Hey, Louis Black's playing down the street," or "This guy's playing down." You're the comic in town, and sometimes you're in town for a day, and so I don't see any of these guys ever. And I don't see a lot of these guys play New York and they socialize, and a lot of the comics, I guess, play the Comedy Store, the Improv, or the Laugh Factory in LA. When I'm home, just stay home. So for me personally, I kind of like hanging out and seeing all these people. Not you so much, but more important people.
Well, you still came. Bobby Slayton's hanging out with us. Are comedians happy for other comedians when they make it like really fucking big, or is there kind of like that two-faced? Oh, we're happy that that they're doing it.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think that I'm too old now and I've been doing this too long. I'm thrilled for other people when they make it, but sometimes if somebody's got a show and you don't get one, and to be honest with you, the Nasty Show's great, and the great thing about it is I've hosted it for so long, and now Mike Ward, who's terrific, is hosting, and they asked me to come up and be a special guest, doing 10 minutes. I get paid the same, and people say to me, "Oh, don't you wish you would have hosted the show?" And I said, "No, this is so much easier." And the festival did say to me that after 25 years, they said, "I want somebody younger, a little fatter, not as funny as you, who looks like a lesbian." And I said, "I got the guy." I said, "I've got the Mike Ward. I got the guy for you. I've got perfect guy." And he's doing a terrific job. And I'm a little jealous, and I shouldn't say that, but after all these years, to see comics who I started out with or who even opened up for me, and they're headlining galas and headlining these giant theaters, and I'm still playing the clubs. But you know what? If you don't sell tickets, it doesn't matter how funny you are. It's about ticket sales. I know how funny I am, but it's about if you don't sell a lot of tickets, you're not on a show. There used to be a little jealousy. Now, I'm thrilled for everybody. I got more important crap to worry about in my life.
For sure. Speaking of Mike Ward, did it drive you crazy hearing about obviously what he's gone through in the Human Rights Tribunal, and he had to pay like $30,000? That's fucked up, right?
It's very fucked up. I can't believe, and it's funny he got all the press the same week as the Nasty Show. It's great, and I guess his manager didn't want him doing any press about it. But when I read the whole thing, I don't speak French, but the French papers I would open up and see every day. The Gazette and the Globe and the French paper, 3 or 4 stories. Not just one story about him, and not just 2 days, like 4 days. There'd be an editorial, and everybody has 4 different editorials, 5 different commentaries, front page news. And it should be front page news because whether you think the joke was funny or not, and whether he's right, whether he's wrong, whether it's bad taste, that First Amendment thing that Lenny Bruce kind of died for, and George Carlin fought his whole life for it. So did that guy, even guys like Howard Stern, and with the FCC, and I'm sure, and then Mike's getting convicted of this crap, and it's tough, and you know what it's like when you're on radio, and it's the one place that people used to call the Nasty Show. They used to say to me, "So you're doing the dirty show?" I go, "It's not the dirty show; it's a nasty show." And yeah, we're dirty, and yeah, we're blue, but I always said the show is just brutally honest because every comic that comes up here, if you think about it, a lot of them doing 1-man, 1-hour shows that are scripted and they're terrific, and a lot of them are hosting galas, and it's television, and they've got to be a host, and they got to be clean, and a lot of them doing their 6 minutes of the Tonight Show, or their agents in the crowd, or it's the new faces, and they want a sitcom. The Nasty Show, nobody gives a rat's ass. You just go up there, and in the beginning, when I started hosting it, it was even more fun because there weren't quite as many shows, and people would come to the Nasty Show hearing how great it was, and they'd get offended a little, which is great. So I go out of my way to offend them even more. But over the years, people realize it's called the Nasty Show, and if you don't like it, there's a million shows you could see, and people know that now. So there's no way to offend these people.
I ask this to every comedian who comes in, especially those with the Nasty Show. Does it fucking drive you nuts as well, though, that it has to say Nasty Show for people not to get offended? What has happened to comedy? What has happened to audiences going into comedy? What has happened to this new generation that gets so offended?
I can't really worry about them because it's mind-boggling to me, and it's not just this generation. It's the perfect example was a few years ago when was it Janet Jackson with the nipple thing, and people.
I was just offended because it wasn't the nicest of nipples.
It was so quick, I don't even think I saw it. And people, my children are watching, really, and that's the worst thing that you could think of with all the violent video games, all the horror going on in the world, and so people are offended by that. People are offended by the F word. People are offended by. I was renting a car a couple of weeks ago, or I was in the airport, and I was kind of talking to myself, God damn it, I missed my, I was talking to the American Airlines, like, God damn it, I had to make this flight. Oh, we wish you wouldn't curse, sir. I wasn't yelling at her, I wasn't even raising my voice, kind of talking to myself, but people are still offended by, God damn it, And I remember when Archie Bunker was on TV, and they couldn't even show a toilet when they flushed the toilet, and you heard the sound. That was groundbreaking television. I don't think things have changed that much. With this asshole Trump and his jackass Nazi evangelical running mate who's, against gay rights and against marijuana and against. Really, is that the biggest problems you idiots have in your life? So people are still getting offended. Religious people are just horrendous. And
do you like Hillary Clinton?
I would fuck her.
Who would you fuck? Let's start talking about this. Now, would you fuck Jay Brody?
Hi. How are you?
Well, if he keeps talking seductive like that, nice
you never know.
I don't like the whole situation.
Yeah.
But of course I'm going to vote for her over that idiot. But that's America. We're living in a world right now that I don't.
What happened? How have we not progressed, evolved? What the fuck happened?
Ever since Journey had a hit record, I said it's all over. It's all over.
That's how the new generation feels about Nickelback.
Yeah, I've stopped believing. Believe me, a long time ago. So you know what? I got 20 good years left if I'm lucky. I'm just, I recycle. I eat dolphin-safe tuna. I don't litter. I make a right turn on a red light, and I get the hell out of the passing lane if somebody wants to pass. So that's all I do. I've known, and I give stuff to rescue animals. I like to rescue animals. I should get a rescue wife. Now I'm going to go to the shelter. that's what they have those in the States.
Yeah, that's what Trump got. First lady.
Yeah. Oh, was it a mail order?
No.
Okay, I thought it was a mail order. It was a rescue.
It's like Ava Gabor from Green Acres. It's unbelievable.
Bobby Slayton's hanging out with us. I don't even want to go. I just want to talk to you all day long because you're a fun guy. Tell me about the tattoos. When's the last time you got a tattoo? Have a Bacardi if you want.
I will.
Yeah, open her up.
The tattoo. You know what? It's so funny. I had a glass of wine with lunch today, and I don't usually drink when I have to work at night. And then I realized I'm not hosting the show. I'm doing 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
So why not have a drink? But those tattoos, I mean, because I look at Roddy, who's all tatted up. Roddy's our co-host here. And I'm looking at Roddy in a tank top, Bobby Slayton in a tank top, and I'm going, this could be Roddy in like 30 years.
Sure. Well, my first tattoo was my daughter, Natasha. I got that 27, 28 years ago. I can't even read her name anymore.
Is it weird having tattoos as an older guy? Is sort of where I'm getting at.
It's just weird being an old guy, period. Forget that. How about my balls dragging on the ground, hair coming out of my ears? I can't hear anything. I can't see anything. I can't get it up. Never mind the tattoos. It's the least of my fucking problems. I'm wearing my pants up to here.
Okay, so that just happens.
That can happen, sir.
Okay,
no, I just got this one. As a matter of fact, it's still fresh. It's of my late wife, Teddy.
Oh, beautiful.
It's like, as long as, it's not weird. I don't know. I've always had them. One of the best things I ever did with my daughter when she was 15, we got tattoos together, even though it was illegal at 15. I know the guy that's a tattoo parlor. We got daddy-daughter tattoos. That was so touching.
And you're Jewish faith. I don't think you're proud because Yid Vicious is they've called you in the past. Does it matter? Do you care? Because I'm a Jewish guy. I don't have tattoos.
That's all bullshit, by the way.
Is that bullshit?
Yeah, total bullshit.
That's it. Where they can't bury you.
It's all total bullshit.
I didn't know that was bullshit.
Yeah. Well, what kind of Jew are you?
I'm a terrible Jew.
I am
and
too.
the best kind ever because I love pork and I love my non-Jewish wife.
I'm not a religious guy whatsoever, and I never have been. But that bullshit about being buried in a Jewish cemetery, it actually came from, I believe, there's two different stories, but I've had a few rabbis tell me. It's not in the Bible or anything. It came from the Holocaust. One person told me because after that, Jews were tattooed. So now it reminds you of that. But it's supposedly in the Bible. It shows you how much I know. In the Old Testament, there's something about you're supposed to go out of this world the same way you came in without doing anything to deface your body, which is why every Jewish broad in Beverly Hills has a nose like a cat. That's okay. That's okay. And you can do earrings and all that, but you can't get a tattoo. It's just such bullshit.
Is it crazy living in LA? Like, is it the stereotype we see, the old guys with the real young girls and all the plastic surgery and all that? Like, is all that true?
Up here this week.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you did well last night, my friend.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Huh?
Do you remember last night?
Oh, yeah. What was that? Well, she flew in to see me.
Okay, so she's still in the room.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm trying to hurry through this.
Oh, so get out of here. Go. I'd rather fuck a chick than talk to me. Okay.
No, it's okay. No, LA, you know what? LA is, so funny. Somebody just asked me about that. LA is such a big place that it's not just all Hollywood showbiz things, but you go to Beverly Hills and you have dinner, and there's, the greatest thing I ever saw in LA. I go to the car wash and I always see, I see people. I go the grocery store down the street from my house. I see Paul Stanley there all the time with his wife.
Yeah.
Paul Stanley shops. We shop at the same grocery store, and I'll go down to the end of the aisle, and as he's coming down, I go, who likes to grocery shop every day and rock roll all night? Who likes to rock roll every day and grocery? How's the song go? Rock roll all night and grocery shop every day.
That's amazing. I want to grocery shop all day. Yeah.
But I used to see, he passed away recently. Kevin McCarthy from Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I wait for him to walk to the vegetable aisle, and I go, they're here. That's the last line of the movie. So I mean, it's fun to be in LA, and to see all these. I don't even care anymore.
You don't even care anymore.
Yeah, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, you just do your thing.
They're all over the place, the showbiz people.
It doesn't matter. You find your place. You find the people you want to hang out with.
But the greatest thing was when I first got there, driving down Santa Monica Boulevard, and I see Otis the drunk from the Andy Griffith show. And I go, Otis, how are you? And he was so thrilled somebody remembered him. He goes, how do you remember me? I go, I grew up with that show. With that and Leave It to Beavers, he was so happy. Out of all the celebrities I've ever met, it's Otis the drunk. I was thrilled to death.
Exactly. What's Stern like?
I've only done a show a few times. I've done it for a while. He won't put me on anymore.
Why not?
I don't know.
Okay.
He always thought
I have no pull, so
he always thought I wasn't right for the show, is what I heard. And
Corolla though, you're pretty tight with.
Yeah, I haven't done a show for a while either.
Okay.
But I mean, I do the shows.
Are you pissing people off, or was it?
No, I just haven't had anything to really plug that it's worth. It's Corolla show I do occasionally when I'm doing a gig in LA. I just, I don't really have anything to plug right now.
All right. Well, we're plugging the Nasty Show here at Just for Laughs, and I'm very happy that this came. I'm almost glad that we accidentally stiffed you last time because it's much more personal, obviously, with you sitting right here in front of us. So, and you might not have wanted to come back on after the first one, which you probably won't after this one.
No, I got free. I got rum, and I got
Permescent.
Yes.
You'll last longer.
Oh, this is the spice rum. Oh, I don't want that.
No, it's real. No, it's a real nice spice. Just a little spice. They're a sponsor, so I'm throwing that out there.
No, I'm sure it's great rum. I love Bacardi.
All right. Bobby Slayton, thank you, man. The Nasty Show. We're cheersing. Let's do a cheers here. Live on Canada Laughs here. Brought to you by Pete's Pizza on SiriusXM. Bobby Slayton, everyone. Go and check him out. What is it? Just at Bobby Slayton? Is that
BobbySlayton.com.
BobbySlayton.com. And have fun with the Nasty Show, man. It's a week, and we're gonna go check one out.
Should I take one of these with me?
Take the spray. Report back tomorrow. Come down. Tell us if it really worked. I mean, Jay's used it, and it's really worked.
This might be a good idea to take this. I'll tell you why.
Okay, yeah. No, tell us now.
I don't tell us.
No, tell us now.
I can't. No, because you might run into her later. I don't want to talk about
it. Thank you to Bobby Slayton. What a ton of fun.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Turn up your speakers, especially if you're over 65. SiriusXM 168, Canada Laughs.